Alrighty, let's see what happens. Okay. Let's see if you'll act right with me today. Okie dokie. I guess I am somewhat live. I might have to turn the sound down a little bit. See what happens. There I am. Let's see how this plays out. Well, hello there, Maryland. How are you? I'm hoping that you guys can see me quite decently and I'm not all I'm gonna see if I can get this better on my tab here. Quality. Yeah, that quality. Hey, Billy. I'm just gonna up my video quality here. See if that improves things a little bit. Looks kind of shady on, well, nope, it started to tighten up. All right. I know I got a little delay on that on my tablet, but it's all good. It's good to see you, Billy. I know I haven't been on in a while. I presume you guys can hear me pretty good, right? Let me know, any of you fast typers. I was doing a well, hello, Metal, how you doing? It's good to see you. I was doing a DVD series. It will be available for purchase soon when I get the ads and everything and the advertising all straightened up on it. But it's like 60 gigs worth of videos talking about everything. Glycerin, the uses of glycerin. I talk about colors, what colors you mix to get what. I went through the whole gambit, so it took me quite a while to do them. So that's what I've been doing for a minute. That's why I haven't been on Mondays and Wednesdays and stuff like that. And plus it's summertime, so my keyboard and video activity will be increasing. So all right, but it's good to see you guys. I'm gonna spare you the horror of looking at the palette because I'm just using up paints that I haven't used. It's too much of it to really just throw in the garbage. So we're just gonna do something here. All right, and chat with you guys. So, but if you do have questions or whatever, you know, just text and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. All right. Okie dokie. Let's get on with it. Let's do something here. And you know, I'll apply the glycerin as I usually do. Thin them out. This is 11 by 15 inch watercolor paper. And I do a lot of my tutorials and stuff on the watercolor paper. One, it cuts down on volume because, you know, canvases take up space. And this is just paper. I can just put this in the bin real quick and be done with it, you know. So, all right, let's just pop off some stuff here. Let's do something. I don't have anything in particular. It's just me, once again, just getting rid of paint. So, you know, I'll keep it like that. On the video series, I go in depth talking about clouds, all sorts of things, mountains, rocks, grass, trees, different types of trees, doing all sorts of things with it. But I'll get like the purchase price and everything straight a little bit later. different ways to make sky, all that stuff. So right now I'm just milling around, like I say, getting rid of the paint. It's a Sunday, so no better time than the present to do something like this, you know. I figure I'd go online to do something before people start wondering where the heck I am. But I've been okay. Everything's cool. Like I say, I'm just fluffing around, messing around. I like that. I'm gonna keep that. Let's get a nice little fan brush here. Not really much of a teaching segment, it's just me kind of getting myself to get back into the swing of things, you know. That's all. At least getting back into the swing of things, talking and interacting with people, and you know what? I think that should be good enough. I'll just kind of do some stuff here. Just because I'm doing it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be seen, but I'm gonna just put it in there anyway. Just keep the flow of stuff. That's all. Eventually, I'll get back to my schedule. Eventually. Guess I'll stick with this guy. Let's fluff a little bit of this. This has got to be one of the most simple ways to do interesting looking skies. Just a lot of action, a lot of stuff twirling around out there. Usually I gear a lot of my work, if it's not like straight commissions or anything, I'll gear my work towards people who are really new at doing this, and kind of relax them, let them know you can do this stuff also. You can manipulate these clouds to anything you want, really. I kind of travel that one there. I'll keep the intensity up there though. I kind of like that. And we'll just kind of have this one kind of go out this way. Then we'll fluff that out. Well, thank you, Marilyn. They're not hard to do. The more you do them, the more comfortable you are with it, and you get to really manipulate and choose how you want them to go, how you want them to look, you know. Main thing is really is enjoy it, enjoy the process, have fun. I do go by, I think the series of clouds that I've done for the videos are more controlled, a little more, you know, deliberate and everything. So I talk about the uses of palette knives and what palette knives do what to whatever. I go through a lot of stuff. So I'm just gonna gather up some quick dark color here. I kind of have somewhat of an idea in mind, so we'll see if it plays out. I talk about how you can blend paint and how a palette knife is an easier way to blend your colors quickly, you know. Okay, like I said, I kind of have an idea in mind, more or less, of what I want, so I'll just kind of aim it toward that way. And since I kind of know what I'm getting or what I want, I'll just kind of, like I said, I don't know this is much of a teaching. But we'll see. We'll see. It's like a piano player who hasn't practiced in a while, trying to get his chops back. That's pretty much where I'm at with this stuff here. All right, that should be all right. Okay. All right, let's start manipulating. Let's start dragging this stuff down. I know you guys seen the square, the taped square. Hopefully once we are done with all of this, it'll do what I hope for it to do. We'll see what happens. We'll cross that bridge. Get this fairly dark. And then just wear a lot of that down. The only time I'm using really the glycerin is just for the skies and whatnot. Just kind of, let's work some of this stuff down here. I'll fade this out in a second. And being that it's like 90 degrees outside, it's fairly warm in here. So the glycerin and stuff, it will dry a little quicker. All of it's in stages, you know. I'll smooth out this bottom here. I'll try to get some stuff happening here. You can always manipulate and do little things to this. You know, it all depends on what you're looking for, what you're feeling at that present moment. I don't necessarily have to smooth out any of this. It'll be mostly covered anyway. All right, the most important thing really is to get that sharp edge. All right, more or less. Okay, let's play. Let's play. Let's get this mountain thing going. I think I want it formed a little differently today. Let's see. Get a little bit of white here. I'm gonna get a little touch of brown in that white. Mix it up here. Roll it out pretty thin. And let's have a little fun, shall we? Let's play. Okay, it doesn't really matter which way I go. I kind of want them to look a certain way anyway, so just lightly just kind of play around with this. Just like that, just have it come down. If that feels a little thick, I'll wipe some away, it's all right. Another little swipe. Let's come on down, let's go straight down, just kind of have it just like that, just go straight down. Once you get accustomed to doing these, you pretty much kind of form what you want to form, really. Kind of have it go down this way, kind of down. And I got obviously texture on this paper. That kind of helps with the cragginess and all of that. So, you know, the paper helps you out. Keeping it pretty much the same color. We'll start putting in other features maybe. Now the glycerin's a little, obviously it's obviously wet, so but it's okay. Okay, you can still manipulate and do all sorts of things with this while it's wet. It's kind of what I'm looking for anyway. Something like that. We'll get a slight, and I mean a slight tinge of blue. Go back into our white. We'll get a shadow side working somewhere in there. I'm not gonna really marble it or keep it one solid color. I do mean to marble it. And we'll get some blue stuff in there. Get some shadows in there somewhere. Just in a few spots. just like that. Let's get it. Some will appear a little. Just like that. Oh, we'll tease some shadows around in here. Up around in here a little bit. A little bit of blue and white. I don't want it all solidly one color, so we'll kind of play around with it a little bit. As the color kind of hardens, it dulls a little bit, which is cool. I'll take a little bit of white, pure white, and then we'll really mark off some key points to it. We'll go this way. Paint right through the tape. Act like that tape is not there. I'm just taking the smallest amounts of white and just gonna pop it in there. Paint's pretty wet, it's moving around pretty easily, which is cool. But when it comes to like blending, making mist or making a little bit of depth in your paintings, this kind of helps you out. We'll take this fella and we'll just kind of tap some mist in there. And basically I'm just obscuring a little bit of the detail, just a little bit. Then I'll just take the same brush very lightly, X strokes. You don't want to blend out all your detail. Just brush up into it a little bit in the direction of where you see the mountain going. And smooth out all the rest, like so. I'll just take the corner of this brush and I'll come down below like this, below the mountain here. There's a reason why I'll take some of this and bring it this way. I'll kind of pop some of that up in there like that. And then I'll just flip the brush around to the drier side on the other brush. I'll kind of work it up here a little bit. Don't want to lose too much intensity. I got a peach towel on my lap, so I can take this brush. Got a lot of hairs there, so I just take it level and just kind of, you can hear me what I'm doing real quick there. The glycerin's helping to work all that out too. Just blending a little softly. I'll come up here very lightly, come on up into the mountain a little bit. One of the advantages of acrylics is that it dries quick. Oils take days, even weeks to fully dry. I can put a few little highlights in the mist a little bit. It's just a few bits of white. Pop them in there and kind of stir around into the cloud. You got some bright bits somewhere in there. Wherever you want to kind of put them, just a little bit here and there. I'll keep it at that. That will be fine. Okay, let's go back to a smaller fan brush. I'll take this little fella right here. Hello, Johnny. How are you? Good to see you. Nobody's talking to me. Talk to her, brother. You guys can talk to me. Okay, where am I at here? Oh, we'll put in some kind of take a little brown, a little blue, and maybe a tinge of yellow. We'll green it up a little bit. This should be enough. I'll put some foothills or some pines in there somewhere. Probably up around in here. I'll just do them this way right now. Just like this. I'll just make the little lines like that. Just an impression of some pine trees there. I'll have it come down a little further so we can work that out. Then as they get a little more narrow, I can just take it and brush it up a little bit, just like that. Get a nice little line going, something like that. And I'll kind of work it and curve it like that, maybe curve it out of there, something like that. Might want that a little darker. Just like that. And it'll help bring out some of these fellas in here, make some a little taller. Just a little darker in here. Add some little darkness in there like that. Okay. We'll work that out too. I'm just looking. Actually, I know what I'll do with that. I'll just add reflections. Just brush it down. Just like that. I'll just brush it. Come down like that. Try to make a carbon copy of what you see up above. You just bring it down below. Very simple, very simple. All of it's an illusion, all right? Let's take a small palette knife. We'll just get a little bit of white. Nice thin layer of white here. And you come here. And we'll just kind of press that on. Just come across like that. And then as you make that curve, get a little bit of waterline going, just like that. You press on one side and you get it going. Just that easy, just like that. And there you go. Just like that. Reminds you of a Bob Ross painting. Yeah, pretty much in that style. He had a kind of a concept thing going when he does stuff like this. So yeah. Let's take another light brush. I'll just take a bigger not brush, this is not but a makeup brush, and I'll lightly brush it if I can. Very lightly. I'll just kind of brush the direction. Very light, if I can get away with it. If I can't, that's fine also. It's alright. Just like that. Okay. So you see a little bit of the streaks there. So nice glassy look to it there. Alright. Okie dokie. Let's put some more detailed-ish type of trees in there. So we'll go with probably a larger fan brush. Found it. I rearranged my studio, so I'm positioned differently. Now I can, even though hey Shane, how you doing? Even though you guys have pretty much see me in the same light, I'm actually flipped toward the side. My back, my whole, everything's flipped around. So I can actually look at my monitor over here, look straight ahead at it if I wanted to read the text that way, but I'm looking at you guys from the tablet right here. And this camera, it's like right above the tablet. They're right next to each other, so I can see everything. So, all right, let's get into some darker trees. Obviously, they're a little closer to us. They're gonna be a little bigger, a little bit bigger. I'm using raw umber. I'm gonna use a little bit of raw umber and blue, which gives me, because it's green and umber. So you put the blue to it, it just gives you a nice deep brownish green, but I don't want it totally green, so we're going to keep it a little bit on the dark side. And we're going to just put some darker trees in here, just to bring it closer and bring this stuff further back. Okay, so they're taller, darker. All right, and we'll just kind of pop one here. It'll be down somewhere around in this area. I'll start with this one. I'll start with the corner of the brush. I like my trees a little thick in the center. All the action is coming on the edge. So we'll do the typical Bob Ross type of thing. Okay, we'll just kind of bring it up a bit. I'm getting some more raw umber. I'm getting some more of this. This is actually raw umber in ultramarine blue. No paint or no glycerin, no water, just paint right straight from the tube. So I want it fairly dark and I want it to dry. Okay, I could have used a bigger brush for this, but it's not necessary. Now you're just filling out the trees. That's it, really. They get larger as you obviously go further down. There's gonna be a lot of land here anyway, so I'm not really concerned going too far downward. I'm just getting some more raw umber. I'm gonna need some more, I can tell, but that's all right. As long as I use up this color, it's all good. It's just ultramarine blue and raw umber, which is giving us this dark. This also makes a great mountain color. Add a little white to it, it makes a great shadow color for your glazing and things of that nature. I'll keep these trees fairly close. Now obviously I don't want to get rid of all that detail back there, so I won't make this tree as wide. Doesn't need to be, but you can you know, kind of put them together. A lot of the other details will come obviously in the highlighting of the trees, so don't fret yourself too much. Once again, I like to keep my centers fairly dark. All the action happens on the left and right side. Okay. As you're doing stuff like this, mountain scenes or whatnot, you think about composition also. I'll put one. I'll put one right about here. And same concept, kind of thin, because it all depends on what you want to see, how you want it done. I'm throwing my brush around there. Keep all that dark. And you act like, once again, the tape doesn't exist. You paint right through it. Okay. All right. All depends on what you want, what you're looking for. I'm living the dream, Shane. Living the dream. Living the dream. I guess I'll put one kind of crooked right here. Really up to you. You'll get so accustomed to doing this. I know I probably make it look really easy. That's because I've been doing it probably more or less a lot longer than you guys. And it's just practice. Just don't get frustrated, don't get aggravated. It will happen. And everybody has their own style. You know, maybe there's things that you don't like that I do. Maybe you change up and have your own way of doing it. Nothing wrong with that. You know, you take a little bit from those who interest you. I don't have a patent on trees. You know, everybody does trees a certain way. You know, I'm really pressing down because one, I'm running out of paint, and two, well, basically that's it. I'm running out of paint. I really don't want to gather up any more paint. Actually, I think I got enough for one more tree. I'm just gathering up this blue. I might have enough for one more. We'll put him. We'll make him. We'll put him right here. Make my tiny little guy right here, and I'll fill it right in. Don't be bashful. Fill it right in. just like just fill them right in there. All right. Okay. All right. I got this bluish stuff on my bluish brown on my brush. I'm not going to get rid of it. It's making, I just took some yellow. It's making a nice, very deep green. I want to lighten that green up just a little bit. Now this is where I will add water. A thin paint sticks to a thick paint. So I'm using water, no glycerin, just water. And when you do this, when you start highlighting trees, you use a light touch. All right. Okay. Okie dokie. And right now I'm just really filling out the trees. I'm not really going for a lit or a dark side yet, because you just blocked in the shape of your trees. Now you start putting in your branches or whatnot. Now this green is particularly still pretty dark, but you'll still see the green in there. You don't want to destroy your darks. A lot of your action is going to happen on the outside of the leaves. All right, the outside leaves is where you get some of that joy. That's where things get interesting. Okay, I'll do every one. I'm not thinking of highlights at this point. If you can, keep your edges with the color. Make your centers a little deeper. All right, it doesn't matter when I go further down like that. Gather some more paint. If you feel your paint getting a little thick, just add a little water, because you don't need a really strong touch when it comes to kind of coloring, painting in your leaves. I'm gonna leave a couple of those dark because it once again will give you depth, perception of depth. All right, D-E-P-T-H. All right, I'll keep that one dark. I'll probably keep that one dark, but we'll light up this guy here a little bit. Give him a little love. He looks lonely. Put some of that color out there. If you notice, even though these are pine trees, they're pretty full, but there's still little gaps in there. We'll kind of add some greenery in here a little bit. I'll probably add some color in there somewhere. You don't see this very well. It's still fairly dark. Well, I mean, you guys can somewhat see it. There. We're not doing nothing much up here, so this is where all the fun is. Okay. All right. I'm looking. Okay, let's clean off the brush. We'll add a few highlight branches on these. I'm going to take away this green. I got a palette knife. I'll just scrape away the green. I got a large pail bucket down here. I just wipe it away. Just put it on the. Now the pail, obviously, I got a garbage bag in there, and just wipe it off in the bag. No big deal. I'm taking a little bit of this cad yellow, slight touch of white in the cad yellow, and then I'm going to use the scantest amount of blue that I can find. And then I'm going to go into my water, same brush, loosen up the paint a little bit. I kind of like that, just dip a little more white in there just to brighten it just a little bit. Now remember, even if it appears to be super bright, it will dull once it dries. All right. Okay. If you look at the mountains, I don't have the mountains really too exaggeratingly light and shade, but the light's coming from the right hand side. And so you very delicately, when you do these highlights, they're kind of on the right hand side exclusively. You put some on the left. Give it the appearance of a few of these guys are trying to reach to the other side. It's failing, but they're trying. And then I go to the next one. Pop up a few highlights on that one. Just getting some more of this wet paint. Very light touch. and you just look at it. You don't want to get rid of all your darks. And mainly I'm doing a lot of this play on one side. Just like that. I'll keep them like that. Now as I'm looking, if you guys see me looking, it's probably to your left, but it's on my right side. I'm looking at the big screen because for some odd reason, when you see yourself painting, it looks like somebody else. It's a mental thing. So you really get to see how your work looks. Thanks, Bill. Well, Billy's been doing some very interesting. Bill's a spray. Is that a spray can artist? He's a spray. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope I'm saying it right, Billy. Very interesting stuff he's doing. Now I could just take this brush and give it a slight push. So we got some little grasses going there. Now when I do stuff like this, it gives my foreground here some ground, so my trees aren't like in limbo somewhere. Just like that. Now I can put like bits of red in here. When you put different colors in here, like blues and reds or whatever, it kind of tames everything a little bit, if that makes any sense to you. Hoswina, how you doing, dear? Hey, how's my big friend? How's he doing? It's good to see you. Need an update on my big buddy. How's he doing out there? Hope all is well with him. Okay. As I'm looking at this, everything seems to be somewhat cool. It works. I'm going to go back to my palette knife here, and I'm scraping up the rest of the mess because I don't need it. But we are going to take the tape off. I might do a series of these. Who knows? It depends on how I feel and how. It depends. Let's take an X-Acto knife. I gotta make sure what I have in here is what I have, and I don't need to do anything else. I'm thinking, because once I take the tape off, I'm not putting it back on. I think I'm good here. I think. Okay, thank you. Now the thing with glycerin and tape. Tape is not porous, so be mindful of that. Just be careful. Now I did gesso this paper. This is not a dual sheet. This is just one sheet. Because I for the series I made a lot of double sheets watercolor papers, and so this is a straggler that was left. It was only one sheet. So, but going back to tape and glycerin, tape is not porous, so watch yourself. You will stain your hands. Now I did gesso this paper. I very rarely gesso the paper, but I did gesso this paper. And I'm pulling and lifting. Reason why I don't want it to tear into the painting. So it's a pull and lift. Trust me, I've ripped right into the paper. This one here looks like it's going to do the same thing. I might have to go from the other side. I'll go from the other side. You can usually feel it when there's going to be trouble looming, and I did feel it. It just comes with practice. And so I'm pulling a little bit more than I should. I'm going to have to, so it doesn't tear into the paper. So you have to be very careful. There it is. See, I knew it was going to happen, but this part is fine. Just take the X-Acto knife and cut it, and there you go. So this is okay. It's fine. But I knew it was going to tear. but it's alright. It's alright. As long as I can get it. I can feel this one too, doing it. So you just pull. I pull a little strong, and then just see this. It's like that. Just be careful on that end, especially if you can feel it tear. You want it, if it tears, you want it to tear in the opposite direction. Trust me. Because if you do it the regular way you would normally do it, you have a rip going right through it, or it just takes a big chunk out, you know. But all right, you got this white border, which is going to be within another white border, which is the edge here. Okay. All right, so we'll just add more three-dimensionality to the painting. We're almost at the 90% mark here. Okay, just getting rid of the tape. All right, so you have a frame, pretty much within a frame. All right. Oh boy, that's funny. You tell Big Will I said hello. I have a reoccurring problem that usually happens with people who experience glycerin. You guys don't see it, but I see it, and it's just the glycerin. If you put too much on, or if the heat gets to it, it starts to not melt, but it starts to run. But it's up here at the very, very top, but that's no big deal. Take a soft brush and it act like it never happened. It only takes a few seconds to correct that. It's all right. Okay, so even with this box here, it sets everything back because obviously the box is in front. So the mountains set the sky back. The trees here sets the mountain and the fog back, the water. Then you got these trees here, which sets everything else back. The white box once again sets it back even more. Okay, all right. So what am I going to do? Well, I think I'm going to put a nice dead tree somewhere around here. Okay, but watch what I do with the dead tree. We're going to take a 1/2-inch brush for this. We're at pretty much the very end here, so I will take, since I ran out of color, I have to add a little bit for the tree. This will be one large deciduous tree. It's getting a little bit of raw umber. I need a slight touch of phthalo blue. We'll just work with these two colors because it maintains a very dark color. And I'll just use the 1/2-inch brush. Okay. All right, I'm going into my umber and phthalo blue, two very dominantly dark colors, and we're mixing them both together. Very deep. This is probably going to be a little more on the blue side, but it will be okay. It will appear black because your eyes are fixated on blue and green. Okay, so anything dark, it will appear a soft kind of black. All right, okay. All right, let's make this interesting, shall we? Got a frame within a frame. You're going to approach this a couple of different ways. I'm going to approach it this way. I'm going to cut through. We'll start here. We'll cut it through this way. Put an interesting bend on him and come out this way. So it cuts right through the bottom of the frame. Follow that. Now we'll continue this guy, but he's going to go right there. We'll get him we'll make him a little thick right here, and then we'll kind of play with him out here. He gets a little wider, a little larger. Come on down with him. Put a big fella in there. Okay, and we'll just block him in for right now. Block him right in. Now if it's a little blue, I'll just cover it with more brown. It's no big deal because you're just blocking in this fellow. So this, you know, have no fear. Just do it. Just do it. Just get it done. Get it done. Get her done. Now my mix is a little blue, which is fine. Just be careful of the taped edge there. And same thing here on the bottom. Get it as close to that line as you can. You don't want to go up into the line. Get it as close as you possibly can, then work downward. So I'll let this tack up a bit. I'm gonna go darker. It's just gonna be more umber. It's no biggie. All right, just let it tack up. This is all paint, no glycerin or anything like that. But just let her tack up. But now you see, obviously it's going above the frame, but it's gonna go below the frame, going upward. Okay. There goes the mountain. No, you still see your mountain. You just don't see the high peak. But it's still there. The mountain will still be there. I'm just getting some more brown, mixing it into the blue that I have. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing too. Don't have, yeah, I know I covered over the mountain peak, but you know what? That really wasn't the focus. It was just some nice background fluff there. I'm just going to get some of this deeper paint, put it right in there. I'm gonna go right here on the bottom. I got paint a little higher on the furrow. Just like that. I'll bring some of this down. I got paint way up on the furrow here, so I'm just getting some of that deep brown off of my brush there. And I'll come down with it. Very light coats. Now, because this is just all acrylic, it's drying. It's drying a few seconds after I put it on. And this is only a 1/2 inch brush. I could have did it with a 1 inch brush also. There, but as you can see, I'm just getting it darker. I'm going back into my brown. A little touch of blue, not as much. And all I want really is just a darkening color. And we'll put the bark on here. And just blocking in just darkness. And when I mention dark, I don't necessarily mean black. But see, it appears black. It's not black. Because if I took white and added to it, you'll see like a weird blue-green brightness to it. Very odd, you know. Hey, Lori. Yes, if you guys can, hit me with that thumbs up. Lori, I was watching you yesterday. You guys were talking about cooking. You had some fella, or you had a lady from England on. But yeah, I was watching you. I was watching you. You guys were talking about different foods. What if it's the same type of food? What name it was in different countries and stuff like that. But I was listening. I was listening to you. Okay, we're gonna get a branch coming from the side, probably a little higher up. We'll just curve the branch. We'll just curve it this way, but it's going to curve and go behind this bar and go out that way. Okay. All right. I'm just looking to see if I got enough paint to get away with it. I should. Something tells me I don't, but that's all right. I'll just make some more. Just getting some more umber, some more blue. Keep the paint fairly thick because I want it to dry. And I want it to cover what I want it to cover also. So, okay, let's kind of put him somewhere over here. All right, something like that. And then we'll kind of get him thick here, just like that. Kind of give him a nice little curve out that way, block him in. I think I'm making Joni sick right now because I'm beating those mountains up in the back. But it all adds to the painting. You got to get used to the painting through your subjects. Yes. It happens, you know. Just be real careful if you're doing something like this and you've got to go towards that edge. Like that. All right. Okay. I'm going to use, I think I'll use a scant bit of water just to loosen up this thick paint. I got really, I use heavy body paint, so I can get away with just a little touch of water. Just a little touch of water. Okay. We'll get another branch. This time the branch is going, will come this way. He's going right through like that, and I'll make him. Yeah, I'll make him a little fella going right through that corner edge there. Getting a little more blue and brown. I got to darken that up a little bit. I'll just darken him a little bit there, just like that. Just get him darker, just like so. Work him in there. He might be a little wet still, but that's okay. All right, we get some tiny little branches going this way, like that. And maybe a nice little Y formation, have him kind of come out that way, like so. We'll kind of have one scoot up this way, kind of branch out that way like that. We'll kind of have another one come out that way like that. We'll get him a little thicker here. Give him a curve there like that. Add some character to that fella. There we go. Get him a little darker. Just like that. I still got some darkness on my brush, so we're just gonna deepen some of this tree here. We're almost done. I won't have you guys on here too long, but I do appreciate you. Yeah, it does look like the frame is hanging in the tree, doesn't it? Okay. A few ways I can go about with shading this tree. Let's do this. The paint's still somewhat tacky. Let's take a little bit of white. I'm going into this funky green mix. I'm putting white into it. It gives me this green blue. I'm not really looking for green blue. I'm going a little bit of umber. It just browns out and dulls out that color a little bit. I could probably get away with this. Now the paint in certain areas is still a little bit tacky. I'm gonna use a little glycerin. The glycerin blends better. I'm just using a very small bit of glycerin. This is just general highlight. Okay. Obviously on this side, we'll just kind of spread it down there like this. Just like this. I know it looks crazy right now. It's all right. It's okay. Hashtag don't panic. I'll just wipe back and forth. Wipe back and forth. See that edge there? Just get rid of that edge. Look at this. Look, look. Not as hard as you think. You're just giving the illusion of roundness. Okay, I got some right now. Thing there. See, everybody wants to go, you know, real gentle. No, I'll just put it in there and rub that thing in there. Stop it. Stop playing. Put it in there. Okay. See that? Gentle is only for babies and puppies and kittens. Put it in there. Work it. Work it. Stop being shy. put it in there. Back and forth, back and forth. It doesn't have to be blatant. It doesn't have to be neon for your highlights. Okay. A little bit of love over here in these smaller branches. I'll get to them later. But something like that, all right? Okay. I think I'm gonna take a palette knife. We're gonna go into our orange. Why am I gonna highlight with an orange? Because I can. The orange is mixing in with the blue. I'm gonna take a little bit of white, pop it in there. Really funky type of color to highlight a tree with. Use some more orange in there. So it's got this weird orangey, gray, green kind of weird color happening with it. I'll take a little bit of white, lighten it up a little bit. It's actually like a very warm green gray. I might want to brown it a little bit though, just a little bit. I got a little bit of ochre, umber in there, just to kind of brown it a wee bit. Using the palette knife to kind of stir it around there. I kind of like that. Now let's highlight that with white. The more white you highlight with a color that's got umber in it, the grayer it will appear. So it's got this weird look to it. Strange kind of color. All right, well, we'll take a little swipe of that. We'll see how this looks. Anyway, you go to the very edge of the tree, okay? And there's a few ways I can highlight this thing. Okay, I'll stick with a line deal. It's just me tapping right on the edge. See this? I'll just kind of do stuff like this right now, right to the very edge. Keep your palette knife kind of straight, level, and I'll just kind of drag it and tap like that. See that? Right on the very edge there. Don't want to cover everything. Now when I spread the paint out, I spread it out very thin. Hey Mew Mew, how are you? I know I haven't been on live in a minute. Yeah, I completed my DVD series, so I gotta work on the business end of that thing. Okay, I'll scrape some from here and come over this side here. I'll bring a little bit of that love way up here. Okay. You see how it starts to, the tree starts to flesh itself out there. Now my paper, because it's only one sheet, it's starting to bow a little bit, but that's okay. You just work with it. You're all right. Don't panic. It will be okay. I'm just looking, kind of add a few in here like this. Scrape a bit. I'll bring some of that love up here. I'll kind of dust a few. And up in here, I'll just turn this knife around. I would rather go upside down. It usually takes a little bit of guesswork and experience, so you don't kind of wreck it. I got some right on the edge here. I'll just kind of make a little line here. I could take a smaller brush and do the same thing. I could, but you know, we're near the end of this. I don't have to go all like that. Go up in here like that. Take a little bit off. Add it somewhere down here a little bit. Just kind of pull this around like that. Pull it around a little bit. Now since this fella is in the front of us, I can lighten that a little. So I'll just take a little more white. I think I'll play around with the orange and white today. I don't know why I want to play around with orange and white, but I'll play around with the orange and white. It's being contaminated by that green, so I'm going to have to pick a spot that doesn't have green in it there so I can kind of mess around with it there. All right, this should work somewhat. And I'll just kind of tap in a few little, these are the brighter highlights. The more, the brighter the color, the less of it you need, really. Kind of showcase the edge of this fella just a little bit. Okay. Now, orange will work because of the blue. So that's why I can kind of get away with orange for a highlight. Tap a few up in there like that, swing it around. I'll put a couple bits right in here, just like that, up around that edge. Let's trickle some of that there. I can take, if I can get away with it, just a tip, gonna outline that a little bit. Put a little bit of that up there like that. A couple of lines here, if I can get away with it. Okay. All right. I know it's pretty late for you, Shane, but thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mew Mew. I'm looking here. I'm looking. Let's take a little bit of blue. Slight bit of blue. Just a little bit of blue. And we'll play around with that dark edge in there. Just like that. Just to give some texture to the dark part of the tree. All right, not necessarily meant to be seen too much, but just to give a little bit of shadow there. Okay. Because you really don't want the dark half to be entirely flat looking. Just like that, just a little bit there. Just pop it in there. That's a really gnarly looking tree. This tree looked like it's been through a few battles, right? Pop a little bit in there like that. Okay. I'm looking at this thing and looking. Maybe we can, well, I really don't want to take away from the tree. Not really going to take away too much, but if I'm looking at it now, I don't particularly like putting trunks in the, it's just my preference. I just don't like doing it, you know. And I'll probably just leave them like that. So with that said, let's get some water. I'll go into the white paint here. I got a liner, a rigger brush, not really a script liner, but it is a liner brush. Let's see if I got enough white here to get away with it. I'll put my name in the tree. I'll just put my name right in here. And then we're going to take off. This is 11 by 15 inch watercolor paper, so I guess I can, if I can reach them, I'll show you what it looks like framed up. Already into the June, half the year's gone already. Isn't that something? All right, let's let me get up and pull out the camera here. Like I say, everything is different. Everything's not situated the same. My camera is actually about 1.5 feet above my head, so I have to actually get up to pull it back a little bit like that. So yeah, you'll eventually see more of me doing this. You see my thumb because I'm adjusting the focus, so forgive that. There we go. I'll wait for it to finish. Okay, where's my, oh, my frames are right there. So yeah, I had to do a little more moving around, but time flies. Yes, it does, Mew. It does, definitely. Carve my name in there. I could have with the X-Acto knife. I could have did it. Okay, so I got it pulled back a wee bit. All right. Once again, you got to do the pull method here. This paper, as a matter of fact, the watercolor paper has been sitting here on my canvas for about 3 or 4 days. I haven't done nothing with it because I did so much painting and editing. I was just a little tired, and plus, you know, I do a lot of filming and stuff, so pulling, going in the opposite direction. Never pull and go inward. You would definitely need counseling when you're finished. You put in all your hard work just to get it ruined by the final step. That would be just so depressing. But it's happened to me a few times live. Okay. A frame within a frame. All right. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's take a black frame. This frame is actually, I had to buy this. It is 411 by 15. So obviously you're not going to see the outside frame, but that's what it would look like if you chose a black frame for this. Okay. Well, it pretty much look like that. Okie dokie, that's enough of that. The brown frame is actually 11 by 14, but it's a thicker frame. It's wood, you know, wood grain, wood colored, whatever. But it would look somewhat like that if you chose a wood frame. So I've did them in, I've got the 2 frames in 2, you know, most popular colors, whatnot. All right, let me show you what it looks like. All right. Okay, dokie. Enough of that. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. All right. Like I say, and you're looking at it pretty much in its actual size. It's not squished in, because if I used the camera for the palette, it would have been compacted a little bit. It would have looked kind of weird. So, but that's well, I don't even know what to do, but there you go. Okay. Not really too involved, really. Interesting graphic design, you know, and it definitely brings out 3D all over the place. You know, even if I didn't add the frame, the inside border, it would still give the sense of depth and everything. Okay, but as you can see, your mountain is still prevalent back there, just because you don't see the peak. The peak, the mountain really wasn't the focal point. It's really this tree going through the frame. That's the focal point. But everything's pretty much, you know, still there. You know, your further trees don't have much detail. They're further away, but you do have your reflection. You got a little bit of that sky color in the water there. Okay. You know, your medium ground stuff gets a little more detailed or whatever, but the real details and the real interesting stuff is the tree going through the borders there. Okay. So, thank you, Mew. I appreciate it. I just read, no, Mew, no. No. It wasn't you. That's funny. This is the first time I've been on in quite a while. So I really don't expect a lot of people to show up. I would have to get this going again and be more consistent. So this usually happens when I'm gone for a minute, and you know, it's okay. And this is not really my scheduled day to do anything. And I just decided just to hop on. But thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. Let me grab my little keyboard here. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I really do. And I shall see you guys when I see you. Don't know if I'll do anything later on this evening. Who knows? I think my buddy might do something, Bruce, but or Hillbilly. Somebody might do something though. So, oh, Mew. Will we wonder what happened to you? But you know, we see you here now, so all is well. So I wasn't on for quite some time anyway, you know. So I wasn't on painting. I was on looking at everybody else do stuff. So, you know. But all right, guys, I shall see you when I see you. You take care of yourself. Be safe. And you guys take it easy.